What is up, guys? It is the night after the two championship games for basketball. We had UConn and Florida, men's and women's, and we're going to talk all about it here on the Big Fuss Show.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
What's up? It is Brad with College SportsCast. We're here to do the Big Fuss Show. I've got John Hammonds here with me tonight. What's up, Hammonds?
What's up, man?
We are proud to be a part of Stadium Rant. Want to get that off of the top here. If you will look at the top right-hand corner, you will see their logo, one of their logos, SR, Stadium Rant, whatever you want to call it. But we are part of them. We're writing for them, and we appreciate being a part of them. Real quick, if you're on Facebook with us, we are growing mightily on Facebook. We're getting closer and closer, inching toward that 5,000 mark on Facebook. And we appreciate you. You can help support us by sending stars, or you can subscribe to our page. It's only 99 cents a month. It does help us to earn a little money to continue to make content for you guys. And if you subscribe, it gives you your own chat room and your own subscribers page. So we appreciate you guys. If you're on YouTube with us, we appreciate you as well. We are trying to grow that over 700 on there and getting closer and closer to being monetized on that as well. All right, John, the last two nights, not just last night, but the last two nights, we have had national championship games in college basketball, both the women's and the men's, to talk about here. So that's where we're going to start, guys. We're going to start with the championship games and here at the Fuss, and we're going to kind of dig in to those championship games. All right, John. First and foremost, UConn returns to glory. Sunday night, the women's national championship game, or actually it was Sunday afternoon. I think it was at 3 o'clock Eastern time is what time the game started. And it was South Carolina and UConn. You had Gino versus Dawn Staley. You had Paige Beckers versus Dawn Staley and the mighty Gamecocks, who had won two of the last three titles. And UConn had kind of it had been 9 years since UConn had won a title. And this was Becker's last game.
Yeah. UConn hadn't reached the title game only once during what you said, their drought since 2017 or 2016. They had some last second losses in the Final Four on buzzer beaters. Their last tournament title appearance was in 2022 when Dawn Staley beat them to start what was ultimately the Gamecocks run that ended Ariema's perfect record in title games.
Yeah.
So unbelievable job of this UConn team. Asa Fudd, strong, Paige buckets. There seemed to be no nerves for
They
them.
kind of had a big three. Let's be honest. When it come down to it, towards the end of this season, they relied on their big three. Now they had other players, that helped out and pitched in. I'm not going to say they didn't, but they relied a lot on their big three between Sarah Strong, the freshman, Asa Fudd, and Paige Beckers.
And I'm gonna tell you, there's nobody that feels more happy for anybody than myself when it comes to Paige Beckers. She's ending her college career on the top of the mountaintop. It was a truly dominant run through the tournament. She had record multiple 30-point games Asa Fudd and Sarah Strong showed out as well, and that trio.
20-plus games for them.
Nobody really in the
Four.
field. Nobody really in the field gave them really any competition. They won every game by double figures. They routed UCLA. Beckers, who more likely will be the number one.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of dominated the Final Four. The Final Four was them as a 2 seed and 3 number 1 seeds.
Here's the thing that really shocked me. You had South Carolina. They come out of the game really hot, but at the end of the first quarter, they just shut down. They made 5 of their first 7 shots, and then they missed, I think, 7 of 8. I can't remember, but they didn't score until Joyce Edwards hit a free throw, I think, late in the second quarter. UConn then went bananas in the third quarter. 11-point stretch from Flood. She hit a big three-pointer. Sarah Strong hit one. They pushed the lead out to 20, and basically the game was pretty much over.
This basically cemented Paige Becker's legacy at UConn. She was the only senior class, like from freshman to senior, she was the only one over the last 30 years that had not won a title.
Yeah.
Before this.
I want to say this about South Carolina real quick while I'm on this topic. They didn't get to go back to back.
Hang on a minute before we get to South Carolina, because I got that. They're my next topic. I'm trying to talk about each team as we go through, but I just want to. There's a couple of things here I want to ask you on the UConn side. So it kind of cemented Paige's legacy at UConn. It just amplifies Gino's legacy. I mean, he had 11 national titles before this game, but to get the girls back after, a 9-year absence of a win here in this title game, it really kind of just amplifies Gino's legacy. He has over 1,250 wins as a coach. He has like an 880 win percentage. I mean,
I think it, pumps up his legacy, but I also think it pumps up Paige Becker's legacy.
It cements her legacy. She
beat 6 number 1 seeds in the tournament. She's had multiple injuries during seasons. She will end her career, Brad, as the Huskies' 3rd all-time leading scorer.
Yep. She did. What's up, Clyde?
Now, Fudd.
And nobody is here again.
And then Fudd is back next season. She's going to forgo her professional career to chance to repeat. She to me, she was a really big difference maker in the backcourt. She had multiple big nights in the tournament. Strong will be a big boost. She had 114 points in the tournament, Brad, most by a freshman.
Oh, I know. A freshman, I know. Now, I do want to say one thing here about UConn that could be seen as a negative, but I have to ask this question. Do you think UConn gets to the Final Four if Juju Watkins doesn't get hurt?
That's a good question.
That's my only – so the only thing that I see here, like Juju and USC was playing so well.
They were.
And Juju is a special talent herself. And they would have ran into each other because USC got there without Juju. They played UConn.
I think Juju being in the game would have made a bigger difference because she kind of puts pressure in the middle on a UConn team that wasn't really big. But
that's my only thing. So when I was filling out brackets here, you had to fill out brackets and they matched up with USC. And I'm going to be honest with you. I had them getting beat. I did not have them in the Final Four. I had them getting beat by USC.
But
I thought USC was a better team.
But on the other side, I think UConn was playing at a level that we've not seen in the last couple of years. They was playing at a really high level. And I think UConn was destined for a championship. They had all the pieces that they needed to win this
Well, I
year.
mean, I think it wound up. It looks like they were destined for a championship, and even Juju's injury kind of opened the door for them to be destined for a championship, in my opinion, in a way. But having said all that, you got to give them credit. I mean, they ran through teams like a juggernaut. Paige played absolutely, just tremendous. Azzi played great. Sarah played great. I mean, and Paige got to cement her legacy as a UConn Husky, and now she's gonna be thought of as one of the greats for UConn.
Well, and that kind of brings me back to the South Carolina thing. They failed.
That's where we're going next.
They failed to repeat. Their run was very incredible. They've been to 5 straight Final Fours, 3 of the last 4 national championship games, and they've won 2 national titles.
3.
But I want to say this. That's what I said.
No, you said 2.
I said 3.
You said 2, but it's all right.
Oh, okay. But anyways, with how Beckers and UConn were playing in this tournament, Beckers was going out on top. Let's just they just didn't have an answer for them. UConn. There was times during the year where South Carolina just did not look great. The tournament, they did not look great.
It's so strange. I remember watching the UConn Tennessee game, and UConn looked terrible, just completely defeated in that game. But ever since that game, they just turned it on. Now, here's the thing about South Carolina. I said all year long that I thought this team would struggle a little bit because they didn't have the big girl. They had been used to not only Cardosa, but Boston, Asia Wilson. I mean, they've had a run of just super talented big girls down low, and this team didn't have that. I think that inside out hurt them a lot this year for South Carolina. I didn't think they shot the three-pointer near as well as they did last year, and they had most of the same girls. I mean, Tessa Johnson, Tahina Paopao, Raven Johnson, Malaysia Wiley.
And now
they had most of the same girls.
And now they lose Paopao for next year. Now they
do, but I'm saying this year compared to last year, they shot and hit a lot more threes. And the reason why is they had Cardosa down low, 6'7". Yeah. They had Cardosa down low. This team did not have that. However, saying all that, they still got to the NCAA national championship game, despite their struggles, because they just won, by a few points, 4 points here and 4 points there in the tournament, but they still managed to get there. And we'll get to what happened today with them in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to talk quickly. Dawn has done an awesome job here with this program. There's no denying that, and she will have them back.
She will.
She absolutely will have this program back. Trying to read what he is saying here. All right. So then last night we are watching Florida win their third national title. John, It was a comeback for the ages. Houston led basically this whole game. I think I seen where Florida led for 1 minute and 3 seconds in this game.
Yeah, it was an all-time great national championship. It was an all-time great Final Four. You had Florida rallying from 12 points down in the second half to beat Houston. They come back from 9.
We did, but that don't count in the championship game.
No. We come back from 9, or they come back from 9 to beat Auburn. Such a hectic finish in this game. Plenty of talent on display. You had Walter Clayton Jr., Emmanuel Sharp. You had Elijah Martin. There was so many big-time players in this game. And you know what's funny? There was no 5-star recruits in that national championship.
Yep.
No.
On either side.
Yep. And, such an unbelievable game. What can you say about Walter Clayton Jr.? The guy is just amazing to watch. What's going on?
Sorry, it's an echo. Sorry.
Florida was up and down the floor all season long. They played really high octane offense. They was good in transition. They was good on the glass. But when they needed the most, when they needed a shutdown, they made plays. The UConn game, the Texas Tech game, the Auburn game, the Houston game. Florida was down 12, Brad, with under 16 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, I mean, but all of these games really, like you said, the semifinal games were the same way. But, man, these games were so great. And I don't know how Houston come back and beat Duke, and I'm still not sure how Florida come back and beat Houston last night. And I was there and I was watching it. We did a live stream last night with these games. And, at the end of it, I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, and that's the way I was when Houston come back and beat Duke as well. I was just kind of shocked.
And another big part of the Gators was Will Richard. He had 18. I think 14 of those came in the first half, but he came up with a crucial steal late. He came up with a crucial steal late in the game. Alex Condon had some tough moments in that game. He had one to clinch it, which, that ending of the game was brutal. Let's just call it what it is. We'll get to that here in a minute.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. I promise. That was as a topic.
That was brutal. But
yeah,
Florida to me, I felt like was the best team all season long. Now there was times where Auburn was probably a notch ahead of them, but I'm going to be honest with you.
We were healthy for one, Clyde. That helped.
I'm going to be honest with you, Brad. Auburn was not the same after the Kentucky game.
Nope, they were not.
Not even the same. Not even the same team. I think a little bit of cockiness. They done the whole belt thing on TV.
I think it got to their head, man. That's the hardest thing to do. When you have a team that is running through the field and you do it all season long, and you get to late February, 1st March, and you're beating what is good teams by a lot, and you're showing out. The hardest thing in the world to do is to keep a level head. That's the hardest thing in the world to do.
And this was Florida's third championship, by the way. They won one in 06 and 07. They were runner-up in 2000 to Michigan State, which they was in the championship against Michigan State back in 2000 against Tom Izzo. But overall, Florida just was the best team all season long. You know, all the way up into the tournament. They won the SEC. They went and you know, they went through the gauntlet of an NCAA tournament, and they had no easy game. Every game was difficult. Coming from behind.
The one thing I want to say about Florida is I got to talk about Walter Clayton Jr. for just a minute here. He had such a run leading up to last night. And, man, you got to give Houston all the credit in the world, man. They double-teamed him all night long, way out, 25, 30 feet from the basket. They pushed him out, pushed him off the line. He had 0 points at halftime. And with 8 minutes to go in this game, he made a drive to the basket and hit his first field goal in this game. Walter Clayton Jr. did. He had 2 points until 7 minutes and 54 seconds in this game, and he hit an and one. Come back, hit the free throw. He come back a few minutes later, hit another and one. And then when they went ahead by 3 and hit a 3, he matched it and sank a 3 to tie the game again at 60. And I got to say this, man. For him to stay connected in this game, he only wound up with 11 points, but 9 of them was down the stretch in the last 8 minutes when Florida made this run.
Closer.
Absolute closer. I said it last night. He is such a closer, man. And I said it on our live stream last night. I'm so glad that he got the MOP, the most outstanding player. I think it was well-deserved. And that kid is a damn first rounder. That's all I want to say. He's a closer. He's clutch. I said it last night. He has the clutch gene. That's what he has.
He does.
He has the clutch gene.
He knows when to turn it on and he knows when to turn it off. And more often than not, he turned it on more times than he turned it off when it was a crucial situation. The Texas Tech game, he hit a big 3. He hit a big shot in the Auburn game. Like when Auburn or them was trying to make a run, every time that they did, Walter Clayton Jr. stepped up. And the one game that I thought they were beat in was Texas Tech. That was the game that I thought they were done. They just had no energy. They had no energy. They had no life. And all of a sudden, bam, here they come. And Walter Clayton does it again. So props to Florida, what they've done all season long. Todd Golden, they've done a really great job. They're probably going to be in the mix again next year. They're probably going to lose this backcourt. They're going to have to get into the portal and figure out how to get this backcourt together. But they should get the big men back.
But they got the bigs back. So
yeah, that's what start. I mean. Like that's a good start to the team next year. So he's going to have them in the hunt again next year.
All right, John, we got to get to Houston, man. Absolute heartbreak last night for Houston. I mean, just disbelief. If you go back and you look at Calvin Sampson's face at the end of the last play, I mean, it's just he don't even know how to respond. He don't even know. Like, it looks like just utter disbelief.
This was an incredible group of guys. You had L.J. Cryer, J.V.R. Francis. You had Juwan Roberts, Ramon Walker, Malik Wilson. They left a mark on the program, Brad. Cryer and Roberts, they're going to be tough to replace in this day and age. He stuck it out for 3 years in Houston when he could have went to the pros. And Roberts was on campus for 6 years.
And Cryer, 6 years, guys. Yeah. Through some injuries and things. That's how he got that.
You don't see that. You don't see that very often. 6 year guys. Like
in this day and No, not one team. No. I mean, and Emmanuel Sharp, man. I mean, God. So I've read some stories. I mean, this kid had a towel over his head. I mean, they closed the locker room, guys, for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
After this game last night, they didn't even do post game interviews or nothing. But when they did open the locker room, Emmanuel Sharp sat and was just bawling tears and had a towel over his head.
Well,
I know some media people now.
And they mentioned
I know some media people now, and I was told this through some media people that he couldn't even speak after this game last night, Emmanuel Sharp.
Well, and then they had
really
the little reporter, don't know who she was, but she ran up to Milo's Uzan after the game, wanting to interview, and he had just lost a game. Like, come on, people. Let's do better at our jobs than going and interviewing a guy that just lost one of the biggest games of his career. Like, there's time for that in certain instances, but that's not the time, in my opinion.
There is. I agree with that, but man, I just feel so bad.
Well, and then you got Tugler and Uzan. He's a lot of NBA people like him. He was averaging, I think, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Then you got Uzan, who really bumped his stock up late in the year, hitting some big shots for Houston. Second team All-American, or no, second team All Big 12. He was coming from an Oklahoma team that lost Otega Owe and him both to the portal. And I always said this: if that Oklahoma team was still put together, that's probably a Sweet 16 Elite Eight.
Oh yeah, they would have been dangerous for sure. Now I got to ask you this: the last minute of this game, Houston had 3 possessions. Do you know all 3 of them ended with turnovers? And they got zero shots up in the last minute. They had 3 possessions, 3 turnovers, and no shots. 0.
I'm going to say this about the whole Sharp thing. I know that there was a play in there where he lost the ball, and you make up for that with the missed free throw from Denzel Aberdeen.
It says last 4 possessions. I seen last 3. I don't know.
And then you had the play where he jumped up with the. I think he thought that he traveled in that instance because he didn't touch the ball. He thought if he touched the ball, he was going to get called for a travel.
Oh, at the end, he would have if he would have touched the ball at the end.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing. In that moment, me and you, we're just regular old guys. You know what I mean? We haven't.
Can you imagine how long that 3 seconds was for him to just watch the ball and know that he can't touch it? And the clock's running out.
Imagine 5, 6 years from now, having to rewatch that replay, and you're not a player anymore. Or, well, if you're in the NBA or whatever, but you're having to watch that over in the back of your mind, knowing that cost you the national championship.
I'm telling you, I'll get to that just a little bit more right after this sentence, but I got to say this. Kelvin Sampson has done a fantastic job at Houston. What he has built is tremendous. They actually deserved – both teams were deserving, but Houston deserved to at least get a shot up and have a chance at the end of that game last night. At the very least, they deserved to get a shot up. I would have liked to seen them not take the 3. They were only down 2 points. It was 65-63. I'm not exactly sure why they were at the 3-point line. They tried to get Cryer. They passed it to Sharp. I would have drove the ball and extended the game. but that's how the game ended. Now,
I want to say
speaking of
this
the
real
game
quick.
ending,
I want to say this real quick about Houston. They have a high school class coming in ranked 4th nationally. They got 2 All-Americans in Chris Sinek and I think Isaiah Harwell. What Kelvin Sampson has built
is tremendous.
The way he develops players, they're playing on the recruiting trail like Kentucky is right now, and all these other schools, Kansas, Duke. They're a destination built to win games. You know, he's built it on experience. Sampson's one of those that he does it through young talent, playing young talent, and he's going to have a lot of young talent next year at his disposal. You got Sinek, who's a potential lottery pick. Yep. They'll be special.
Who we recruited, by the way, Sinek.
They get the kid Flemings. Can't think of his first name.
Noah, I think.
Kingston.
Noah?
Kingston. Oh. Kingston Flemings. They get him. So they're going to have some rough around the edges games next year and rough around the edges when it comes to the recruiting. But Sampson will be in the middle of that. And he'll have them back to the Elite Eight. He'll have them back in the Final Four sometime, if not next year or the year after that, because this guy is an absolute winner. And I've said it from day one. He knows how to develop talent. The foundation is there, Brad. The portal. That's where you contend at nowadays, is in the portal. The NIL, the getting players to 100%. Plug in and play. So
I got to ask you this question though, John. Was that an all-time gaffe in the Final Four national title game lore?
It's up there. It's up there, but the circumstances and the situations were different, I think.
Does that top the Chris Webber timeout?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think so? To jump up, not shoot, throw the ball down, and just have to watch the clock run out. I mean, that's a pretty bad all-time gaffe. Now I'm telling you.
Weber's was pretty bad too. You didn't have any timeouts, and then you basically just folded the game to them, which Michigan had a chance to have the ball back. Houston didn't, and instead of, Michigan called timeout, didn't have no timeouts to get a technical. They shoot 2 free throws.
I mean, he says big-time choke. I'm not sure it's a choke, but it sure is a gaffe. It's an all-time gaffe, I think.
It is, but I don't think it's as big as what Weber's was.
I mean, what's some other ones? Just off the top of your head, what's some other big-time gaffes in Final Four or national championship games that you can think of? I mean, how about Calipari not fouling up 3 in the closing seconds against Kansas?
Yeah, that's another one.
I mean, honestly, that's a pretty big one. Like, he had that game won. People don't remember that.
I'm trying to think. Can't think at the top of my head right now, but there's been so many games that you can look back at certain instances where they changed the course of time. But those 2 are kind of the ones that sticks out to me. Well, Duke's choke. He says Duke's choke. Duke's choke was more or less done in the last 10 minutes. I wouldn't consider that a choke late in the game. They didn't hit a field. They only had one.
I don't think that was a gaffe. I don't think Duke's. I mean, maybe they choked the game out, but I don't think that was a gaffe.
They only had one field goal in the last.
I'm talking about.
They only had one field goal in the last 10 minutes. They basically lost that game in the last 10 minutes, but not doing enough offense, not creating. They done a lot of ISO with Knipple and Flag, and they basically said, you know what, go win this game, and they tried to rely on freshmen, and it just did not work. And you know, you live and die by that. But I'm still the jury's still out on John Shire on where he is as a coach. And everybody wants to blame Cooper Flag. Everybody wants to blame Duke, but I blame John Shire. They quit running offense. He set Cooper Flag for 3 minutes. Was it late in the game, early, middle of the game? Like, there's certain things as a young coach you can't do, and you can't leave your superstar sitting on the bench when there's a huge game like that, of that kind of magnitude.
Well, the offense got very stagnant as well.
It did, and a lot of that had to do with Houston too.
All right, we're going to move on from the title games. So, John, I'm going to give you the floor here for the latest portal news. I'll start this morning. Kentucky landed Jaden Quaintance out of the portal. I think that is, in all seriousness, he recommitted. He was committed last year, went to Arizona State this 1 year. But I will say this: it is Jaden Quaintance is the highest rated transfer portal recruit that Kentucky has ever landed from the portal. The portal's only been around about 5 years. He is the highest rated recruit from the portal that Kentucky's ever landed.
Speaking of Houston, they just got a portal guy. So Pop Isaacs was rumored to go to Ole Miss. Well, now he's going to Houston.
That's a good one for them.
Yeah. And like you said, Jaden Quaintance committed to Kentucky. I'm trying to see. I think Javon Hadley, the Louisville guard, he's returned to Louisville for another year. Seth Trimble is returning to UNC. I think Justin Pippen, Michigan transfer. I think that's Scottie Pippen's other son. He's going to Cal. That was reported this morning. Kansas picked up David Coit from actually, he played at Kansas. He's transferring to Maryland. He was at Northern Illinois at one point. Kentucky was actually in on him last year. Diabate is another one for Kentucky. He came to Kentucky from Alabama. Duke Miles is going to Virginia, former Oklahoma transfer. Nigel Pack was another one. He went to Oklahoma. That's a big pickup for Oklahoma. They needed a little star power in the backcourt after Jeremiah Fears has left.
I think Nigel Pack's a good player, man. I really do. I like him.
The Bashir Jr. kid from Monmouth, that is Abdul Bashir's brother, the player that's going to Auburn. Many had thought that he was going to go to Auburn to be with his brother, but he instead committed to Jerome Tang in Kansas State. The big one is Ian Jackson from North Carolina.
Has he landed?
Not yet, but there's a lot of talk surrounding him for St. John's. So I don't know really what the latest is on him, but the latest that was 2 or 3 days ago,
St. John's. I heard St. John's early when he first went in.
Yeah, and then you had the big one yesterday. Was it Robert Wright from Baylor?
I like the Robert Wright kid, and he was Baylor. I mean, Alvin Brooks has a connection to him. I like that kid.
There's a lot of talk that he's going to BYU. That's what I've been told. You had Sebastian Mack, UCLA guy, going to Missouri. He was another one of those that was in the portal that was a really good player that was looking elsewhere. And you had Nick Boyd, the San Diego State guy. He went to Wisconsin. And before San Diego State, if many don't know, he played for Florida Atlantic with Elijah Martin and John L. Davis. And speaking of Pierre and Yates, I've heard a little bit today that Yates, it's 50-50 between us and Washington. Not sure that Kentucky – there's a lot of people saying that Kentucky's kind of going a different route. They think that Poindexter might go to Washington is the talk.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing today.
So I don't know. That would be a big one, obviously. And they've kicked the tires again, Brad, on Rylan Griffin, the Kansas guy, former Alabama player.
Who played with Diabate, by the way.
Yeah, he played with Diabate. And then you go to the girls' side.
We'll get to that. Hang on just a second. Just a second, because I got something I wanted to mention before that. But NBA draft early entries today. Texas Trey Johnson entered the draft, projected top 5 pick. Michigan State freshman Jace Richardson entered the draft today. Is there anybody else that you know of that entered the draft over the last few days? But I know those two entered the draft today. I wanted to give them some pub.
I have not heard.
Both of Jace Richardson from Michigan State is a clear, like maybe lottery pick, first rounder.
Did you say Adu Thiero?
No, Adu Thiero entered the draft today. You are right. I saw that.
I just want to say this. I know
Boogie Flans also entered the draft.
He played for Arkansas, and I know a lot of people do not like Cal, and a lot of people do not like Arkansas. But I do like Adu Thiero.
I don't have any issue with Adu Thiero.
I think that he done what was best for him, and I just think he's one of those guys you just got to love and support.
Listen, I have nothing. Anybody, that's crazy talk. I mean, I wish the kid well. He's got a good family. He's got a sister that's a ball player. His dad was a ball player. I mean, honestly, I wish the kid well. I hope he has a great career, to be honest. I mean, I don't know why anybody would
Clyde says, why don't Cooper Flag enter the draft? Listen, Clyde, he's setting aside – he just ended the Final Four, 2 days ago?
Exactly. Give Cooper about 3 or 4 days. He'll probably be in the draft, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's most likely coming. It's just a lot of these kids, they got to figure out a plan, and they got to sit down with their families, and they got to write all this stuff out. Like, this takes some time to –
Cooper's just ended. Jace Richardson ended last weekend. Texas, Trey Johnson ended a couple of weekends ago. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to give these kids a little bit of time.
I don't think he's coming back. I can tell you that.
No. All right. That's it. I'm going to talk about the women's side of things here in the transfer portal now. 2 really, really big ones, and that should say Latson, not – oh, does it say Latson? Maybe it does. No. What in the world? I swear my screen says Latson, but when I put it up there, it says Laston. Anyway, Tania Latson is her dang name. She's the nation's leading scorer in college basketball this year. She played for Florida State. She is committed to Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks after the loss on Sunday. This is a huge pickup for Dawn Staley. She is the number 1 player in the transfer portal. And Olivia Miles, who was knocked out at Notre Dame by TCU, has committed to TCU tonight. She's number 2 in the women's portal, and that is 2 big time. I mean, we're talking about these are All-Americans in the portal in the women's game.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all in the portal right now. Latson, like you said, to South Carolina. You had Miles to TCU. There's been a lot of different players. Doval went to LSU from Notre Dame. She was another one that was one of those in
She
the
was
portal.
top 5 in the 2024 class,
And now,
and she's a good Kate
to
Koval.
speak on Kentucky, there's some rumors swirling that Kentucky's maybe got 2.
Yeah, there's some rumors. Asia Boone is one to look for from Liberty. She is a guard from Liberty, averaged about 10 and a half points a game. She's one that they have been talking to. I would think she would be one of these 2. I'm hoping the other one might be Cotty McMahon, but Cotty McMahon has been in Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is hot after. So
I know what you're talking about. With Don Staley, she says, "I hope they're crying. I hope they're boo-hooing." I understand. He was talking about the post-game press conference. Said that he lost respect for her when she. I mean, that's a coach is going to be. Maybe that's to motivate them. You know what I mean? Like,
I had no problem with a coach saying. Well, I mean, the only coach that I've had a problem with all year long that said stuff was Dan Hurley. Yeah, I mean, that's the only coach. Actually, I'm going to take it back. Early in the season, Mick Cronin was saying some wild stuff at UCLA. I will say that.
He was. You know, and the thing is, like you said with this portal, the women's game has changed so much in terms of now you got the portal with them, you got the NIL with them. It's changed the game of basketball. And you go from the men's game to the women's game, and it's so much fun. That's all I can say.
I love the women's game, to be honest with you, man. I love the way it's played. I love the clock. I love the timeouts. I love the 4 quarters. I love the advancement of the ball. It's so much different. Now, I'm not so sure that I would like that, because if you did that in the men's game, I don't know that we would get the Duke Houston ending, because they put the press on. They had to get the ball in bounds from under their own, their own basket. You know what I mean? Like, the opponent's basket. That makes a big difference. But in the women's game, it's beautiful. I love it. It's a different game, and I absolutely love keeping up with and watching and covering. Not just keeping up with, but covering, being a media person, actual media person in the women's game, and I absolutely love it. Today, I will say this: official. Kentucky has signed Josie Gilvin today. It's official. Not only did she commit, but she signed today. She is official, a player now for next year. She is from Louisville at Sacred Heart Academy, won back-to-back titles in 21-22. She is the MVP.
Right, JC, right.
She's the MVP of the 2021 Sweet 16 Kentucky basketball. I mean, and she played at Western for 3 years. She's a 41% three-point shooter. She had 2.6 steals a game. She was a defensive player on the all-defensive team and second all-conference USA. She's going to be a great piece off the bench. That's one thing that I did want to mention tonight while we were on. Got to give the huge shout out to Kentucky women's when they do something like this. I think she's going to be a great, great piece for this team. They missed bench production this year, and I think this is a girl that can give them some bench production.
Yeah, this just means you have the real chances to beat Florida earlier, right? JC said. JC Kurt.
Yeah. What's up, JC? Glad to see you here, man. I wish, JC. I wish. All right. Going to move on from that to within a week here, guys, from the end on Sunday to the following Monday is the WNBA draft. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I want to give you guys. So Olivia Miles, the one that I just talked about in this one, who is transferring to TCU, played at Notre Dame. She was the projected number 2 pick in the draft. Now, here's the difference in the NBA and the WNBA. In the WNBA, Miles was only scheduled to make like $77,000 a year in her first year. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
These girls can make $1 million in NIL this year, and probably did here at TCU, and that's why they pass up. But she had a chance to go. The rules are different in the women's. You have to be 22 in the same year, where it's 19 for the men in the same year. Miles is 22. She could have foregone her senior year, but she took her name out. So that's one here. The number 1 pick is the Dallas Wings. They have the number 1 pick, and it's almost a given, certain that Paige Beckers is going to go number 1.
Well, and I want to give you a few of my tops that I would I think that's going to be in the middle there. Citron from Notre Dame, Sanoa. I think she's going to be in there. Kiki, the USC guard, she's going to be one of those. She's very athletic, can score. She had a really good year for USC.
Yeah.
She played really well for them. Anissa Morrow would be one, but has she even mentioned that she's coming back? Or I'm guessing
no, Anissa's not coming back. She's already put her name.
She's really good at scoring. She can rebound the ball. She can impose her will. She's one of those girls that you got to like in that early round. If her outside shot gets good, she could be a real dynamic star.
Shut up, Clyde.
And then you got Georgia Amore's in there. Janiah Barker from UCLA.
Don't forget Haley Van Lith. I think Haley Van Lith, if she's not a first rounder, I'm telling you, man, she's got to be.
She's a really dynamic scoring guard. She's really quick with the ball. Emily Ryan from Iowa State is another one. She's a really good basketball player. She's real crafty with the ball.
Lucy Olson from Iowa might be a first rounder here.
Sedona Prince would be another one from TCU.
Yes, Sedona Prince will probably be up in there.
I tell you one to watch late is Michaela Timpkins from Florida State. She played with Latson last year. She's really
she'll
good.
Be a first rounder.
I think she
might get drafted.
She might be in the
there's 3 rounds. I think there's 3 rounds in the WNBA draft. I'm pretty sure.
Zay Green.
It's
Zay
3,
Green from Alabama would be one.
Yes, Zay Green has put in. She's going on the WNBA from Alabama. Sarah Ashley Barker I'm hoping to see her name from Alabama, to be honest with you. She is a dynamic player on the floor. I don't know why a WNBA team would not give her a chance to at least work out. And
Madison Scott would be another one from Ole Miss. Talia Van Oelhoffen from Oregon State is going to be in there somewhere. She'd probably be in the late first round.
She played at USC this year with Juju, and she really did not have that stellar of a year.
USC,
she was great, she was great at Oregon State.
She originally played at Oregon State, is what I meant.
Yeah.
And then you had Georgia Moore, like I said, she'll be somewhere there. So there's a lot of great talent coming into the WNBA. And then there was some that decided to stick around in state school. You had I think it was Pow's coming back. You're probably going to get Raven Johnson. Sounds like Raven Johnson might be back.
Yeah.
So
Olivia Miles.
Come
back. Flau'jae Johnson is coming back to college. So there's some big names.
But before we end this, I want to kind of go over the men's, the NBA, some of the mock for the men.
Well, I was going to hit some NFL stuff real quick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Got some stuff there for Stadium Rant. Just want to continue to work on them, talk about them. Check out our writings, mine and John's. We're doing a lot of stuff here at Stadium Rant. So go to stadiumrant.com, click. Find anything and everything sports that you want to read about, know about. Hit mine and John's, but hit everybody else's too, man. Got 100 so writers that are writing all the time, and you can find soccer, you can find just anything, to be honest with you. Any kind of sport, any kind of entertainment.
Well,
WWE.
There's one guy that's a soccer guy. He puts out, seems like 100 articles a day.
Oh, yeah. All right, the House settlement is inching closer to final approval. There's two things that they have to adjust. One is roster limits, adjusting roster limits, and then the other is including a 10-year worth of athletes. So somebody who's 8 years old, this judge isn't liking including them in this settlement. So there's two things they got to work out, but the House settlement is inching closer to final approval, which is the revenue sharing.
It's going to help with the revenue. It's going to help with the right.
Like you said, which is revenue sharing. There's a lot of good stuff in this.
I think
to work out.
I think when you add the 15, I think it'll give some of these rosters a chance to add another person.
Well, as of now, they don't have that.
They don't have that. No,
and they may not get it because she's wanting them to the roster limits. She's wanting them to do it gradually over time and not do it all at once. Because here's what it's doing. While it's giving more players to basketball and football, it's taking away scholarships from track and field and Olympic sports and things of that nature. Track and field, I think, or one of them had like 30 scholarships, and it's going down to 17. So she doesn't want to do all this at once. She wants to scale it. That's one of the sticking points here. So I don't know how all this roster stuff, they may not get it right away.
Mm-mm.
All right, John. I wanted to do this the other night. I did not get to it. A week or two ago, Deion Sanders got a big contract extension. I got to ask you here, going to football here, is Deion Sanders proven his worth at $10 or $11 million a year? Do you really think he has? He's 13-12 in 2 seasons at Colorado. Yes, they had a pretty decent year this year, but he's 13-12. The only coaching he's ever done is with his sons and Travis Hunter.
You know, I'm going to say this about this, and we'll kind of get – because we're running low on time here. I think he is worth it because you got to think about the situation Colorado was in, Brad. You know, they was in the Pac-12. They was –
John, that's top 10 in the country. He's got to be a top 10 coach.
Even if you go back in the Big 12, Colorado football was on the decline before Deion got there. They just had one season with 9 or more wins from 2003 to 2002, right? Or 2022. He reached that win total in less than 3 years.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he won't prove it. I'm not saying that. I just don't think he's there yet.
I get what you're saying, but he surrounded himself, Brad, with a lot of great coaching staff. You know, they got Marshall Faulk now. He's had Pat Shurmur. He spent a decade in the NFL. You had Warren Sapp.
I get it. I'm just saying I don't think he has proven that worth yet. he's on his way. I mean, if he can prove that he can land and get generational talent like Travis Hunter again, and not have Shadur Sanders and his son Shiloh and stuff there, and recruit these kids and keep building it, then okay. A couple of years from now, if he's still going 9-3,
I'll say this.
okay.
If from your perspective, if he goes say 10-2 this year and they make a what do you call it, one of those New Year's Six bows like type thing, does that convince you that maybe he's the right man?
I'm not even saying he's not the right man. I just don't know that he has proven that he's worth $10.5–11 million.
Well, whether you love him or hate him, Brad, he's must-see television. He's prime time. And his recruiting, don't get me wrong, $10 million for a coach is quite a bit of load of money. But would you rather pay that to Dion than hire somebody that costs us half of that can't win games, that only wins 5 or 6 games?
I can tell you this much. If I was running that school, there's no way that I would have give him an extension with that much money. If he would have taken 6, but not yet. I just don't think it's yet. That's my issue with it.
Well, that's your opinion, and I got mine, and let's just settle the case on it.
It's not. He's not done it yet.
That's why they call it the Big Fuss Show.
I mean, he's not done it yet. That's not debatable. He's not there yet. He has not done it yet.
I think he's made improvements through.
Well, I mean, lots of
recruiting,
coaches make improvements.
But I think his biggest is off the field, Brad. What he's doing off the field, they've had an increase of fans. They've had, the recruiting, like I said, they're bringing in some of these Travis Hunter.
I mean, hell, Matt Rule's made improvements. I mean, there's lots of coaches that make improvements.
Well, I'm just going to say he brings value to Colorado. We live in a world, Brad, where the Big 12 is just not that big of a conference anymore. Let's just say it used to be. You had Nebraska.
So that means he can't finish third in the conference again.
You had Nebraska.
Might even have been fourth, tied for fourth, third and fourth.
You had the Nebraska teams. You had the Texas teams. You had the A&Ms. They're all gone. Oklahoma's.
Yeah, I get it.
There's a chance now that with him at the helm, they could win the Big 12.
I get it, man. I'm not saying I don't get it. There's a chance, and it's possible, and he might get there. But again, that means not yet. That's what that means. That's what you're telling me.
Why is my camera not working?
I don't know. It froze. Your camera's froze. I'm not sure.
Let me log back in. I'll come back.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to get to a quick rundown of the top 10 picks in the NFL draft. I will start, the top 10 picks here in the NFL draft. It's at the end of the month. We will do a little bit more draft coverage here as April goes along here for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I thought tonight we would just kind of cover the top 10.
Is this our last topic?
You there? It is. Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
All right.
I kind of wanted to bring this up because there was some guys that I kind of wanted to talk about. Some of the top guys.
What are you talking about?
Like some of the top draft picks.
That's what we're going to get to here. So we're going to, I'm going to talk about some stuff that I am hearing with these teams. So I'm going to be honest with you, John. I think the Titans have narrowed down to Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay Ward. He's made big strides.
I think the Titans are either going to do one or two things. They're going to draft Cam Ward, or they're going to take a trade for the top pick.
Yeah, I think, we all know about his arm, his athleticism. He had a lights out pro day, Brett.
He did.
I think he kind of solidifies the top spot for the Titans. I think you got to go Cam Ward in the first pick.
Yeah, so I think the Titans, like I said, are either taking Cam Ward, number one, or they are trading down for somebody who wants to trade up for a quarterback.
Well, and then you got number two.
Number two is the Cleveland Browns.
You're probably taking Shedeur.
You think so?
Most likely. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I'm hearing they're going defense.
If that's the case,
that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Abdul Carter from Penn State, number two. That's what I'm hearing.
The thing about Sanders, I love Sanders. He's going to take hits. If you watched Colorado last year, he took some shots. He does a lot of things really good. I like to see him more consistent, but you got to think Colorado's offensive line was not that great last year. You got to put him behind a line that can block, and I think you can unleash what Shedeur Sanders can do. But
if I'm with you, John, there's a little bit of rumors here that says that Sanders might slide down to the Saints at 9.
You think he's another Will Levis type, where he gets not even picked?
He's not going to slide that far. Sliding to 9 is not sliding in the second round, man. That's not. He ain't going to slide that far.
Yeah, but some people are kind of weary of him, though. That's why I say, like.
But I hear Abdul Carter is a good pickup for the Browns at number 2.
I think if you're number 3, I think if you're number 3 with the Giants,
I think they're going quarterback.
I think you got to go Travis Hunter. He's the best guy in this class.
Well, I've heard that name for the Giants here as well. But, man, don't they have to go quarterback?
They got Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but Lord have mercy, how long has Russell Wilson been playing?
Yeah, but
isn't he like 57?
They're kind of set it on him to be the starter. And
this year, maybe. I don't know how you don't go quarterback, man. I just don't. Now, the Browns, if they're going to go defense, it could be Travis Hunter. Yeah. It's either going to be Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter. And I'm going to tell you, Carter is really, really good. He's just scratching the surface on how good he can be. Now, I'm not going to put him in the same mode as some of the top linebackers in the league, like Micah Parsons and all these guys. But can he get there? Yes. He's got that kind of talent level. But if I'm the Giants, I would either settle on him or Travis Hunter.
Clyde, he went to the Giants this year. But like I said, man, like I get it for this year.
Where's the team going to draft him now? Cornerback, running back, wide receiver.
I think you talking about Travis Hunter. I think he's going to be a cornerback, man. He might get a little play at wide receiver, but I think he's going to be a cornerback.
I'm going to tell you something. He played 120 snaps a game. Okay,
I know that.
That's not sustainable in the NFL. I can tell you right now.
No.
I mean, because you're getting
playing. I said he might be playing a little bit on offense, but I think he's going to be a quarterback.
You're getting beat around in the NFL a lot different than you are in college.
All right, number 4, Patriots.
No, it would probably be a trade, wouldn't it? Is it the? I thought it was the. Wait a minute.
I mean, I got the
I
list
thought it was.
tonight.
I thought it was the Bears.
No, the Bears are 10, man.
Oh, that is right. I guess it is the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'd probably go defense because they're pretty much set on offense. I'd probably go
If
Mason Graham from Michigan. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's a really good there's a deep defensive line talent in this draft.
All right, so number 5 and number 6 are the Jags and the Raiders, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this is where Ashton Jeanty comes off the board. I have been told that the Jags and the Raiders are both looking at Jeanty, and if Jags don't get him, the Raiders might.
Well, you got to think about McMillan, maybe Mimbu, the offensive lineman from Missouri, but I think he's going to go a little bit farther down. I think the Jets are going to draft him. I think the Jets are looking for offensive lineman at 7.
So, do the Jags go wide receiver here for
Most likely, yeah.
For
or they kind of go with the safe pick with Mason Graham, because Mason Graham is a really special talent in this class that they got this defensive line class might be one of the best that we've seen in a while.
Did you see Ashton Jeanty in his workout?
I did.
I mean, he looks like he was built in a lab.
Yeah, he's
for football. Like, seriously, guys, go look at his workout. It is like, holy cat. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a player that looked like he could run through a wall better than Ashton Jeanty.
Sort of like the Incredible Hulk type stuff.
Wow. Like, I'm serious, guys. Listen, outside, I think the 2 best players in this draft that will have the best careers, let's put it that way. I'm not saying that their careers will be the longest. I'm just saying the 2 players that I think have a chance to be Hall of Famers in this draft is Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty.
Yep.
By far. I'm telling you, whoever gets Ashton Jeanty is going to get about 8 years of dominant ball.
Yep.
Dominant.
And then you got the Raiders that possibly could get McMillan from Arizona. The wide receiver.
I'm hearing Jeanty is a good one here, a good chance.
Well, and then you got Mike Green, the edge from UVA, played at Marshall. He's really, really good. Kelvin Banks from Texas, offensive tackle. He would be another one for the Raiders, Jets in that 7-8 spot.
Panthers are at 8.
Yeah, they're 8. I probably think the Panthers are going to go probably with Mike Green from Marshall. He's very, very explosive. After
9, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm hearing a lot of buzz that there was a workout recently. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Shedeur Sanders. Now, there is a chance that they will have to trade up from 9 to get him.
I think too.
One of the spots I had heard that they might trade up for is either 3 for the Giants or 4 for the Patriots.
Well, and I think at 9-2 with the Saints, you might get a homegrown kid in Will Campbell, the offensive tackle. There's been talk that maybe he could go there.
There has been.
So I don't know. But the Saints could slide in that spot and take Shedeur. So who knows?
Yeah. But there is some buzz between that. And then the Chicago Bears are number 10.
I say they'll take Will Campbell, Banks. They're probably going to take an offensive lineman in this draft, most likely. I tell you who I like, Brad, in this draft. is Michael Williams, the edge from Georgia. I think he's going to be a star in the pros.
Yeah.
He's Georgia has a history.
He's got a lot of talent, man. That kid's got
he's a first-round talent all day.
Him.
Then you got Deion Walker. There was I think there was a pick or something that he might be a late first rounder or late second round.
I think Hairston's going to be possibly a sneak in the back half of the first round here. I really do.
Yeah,
the bottom of the first round.
I do too. You know who's going to be a late second rounder, and I thought he would be. I actually thought he would be in the top 20, but injuries kind of slowed. Is Will Johnson from Michigan?
Yeah,
I think he would have been in that top 15, top 25. He's been injured some, and sometimes you have to high risk, high reward with certain guys like that. And real quick, before we get off of this NFL stuff, I kind of want to go through the NBA mock. Some of the guys that I kind of want to look at. You got Cooper Flagg.
I mean, we can hit that next time if you want.
Oh, yeah, we can do that next time. We can do that next time. We're kind of running late on this.
We can hit that next time, man.
But let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's get it in.
Let's do that next week then.
All right, guys. So real quick, I'm going to talk about something here. So Howie Fresh with the Real Fresh channel, who we are friends with here and kind of partners with College SportsCast, the Real Fresh channel, Stadium Rant, it has a new bet link and we are sharing it with him. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So it's Bet Us is the site. And at the top of the screen, I just changed the Stadium Rent. There is a code that you can scan and will take you to the page. Your first 3 deposits, you'll get 125% bonus. So if you deposit $100, you'll get 125. So you'll get a 125% bonus. Your first 3 deposits, so you get some free money. We and the Real Fresh channel does NFL picks weekly. We do our game day pick'ems weekly. We've been doing this for 3 years. It's great to have, to have a bet link here to do this with this time. This is something brand new for us and for Howie Fresh.
Now, we don't do NFL picks like for a game.
No, we don't, but Howie Fresh does.
Howie does, yeah. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying Howie Fresh does the NFL picks weekly. He is on College SportsCast Facebook page. If you're on Facebook with us on Tuesday nights, they do their NFL picks during the season. Right now, I think they are doing some NBA, NHL, some other stuff. But during the season, they are great. Howie Fresh was 72% correct picks. Bets. This is bet stuff. We were above 60%, 62% on our picks. A College SportsCast here last year for our game day pick'ems. And, I love the chance to offer this to you guys. It's at the top of the screen. You can scan that. I'm hoping this works because it is kind of small, but it's fairly good size up there in the corner, so maybe it'll work. But that is also the link, bit.ly/realfreshbetus. And you can get your first 3 deposits will be 125% match bonus, and you get 10% insurance on your bets as well. So there's some really cool stuff there to offer for you guys. and we appreciate Howie Fresh. Speaking of Howie Fresh, since I'm talking about him, I am going to play something for you guys, and as soon as I get down here to it, and this is Howie Fresh.
You need new entertainment. You need full-length content. You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Howie Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
You know what I've always wanted to do?
What's that?
He was talking about I've always wanted to get on a wrestling podcast and connect.
He has a great one.
And connect with the Undertaker and some of these WWF guys and just hear their stories.
Yeah.
Like, because I think that's the coolest thing. I actually was watching. The reason I say that is because I was watching the Undertaker podcast last night, and he was telling stories of Andre the Giant and all these things when they was in the industry. And I just think it's amazing that they give back to the fans and share these stories with all their fans. It's amazing to see the human element aspect of it.
He does a great one, man. So at the top, that's our Bet Us code. It does give you cash for your bets. And if you follow us and the Real Fresh channel, who is on the screen down there on his YouTube, or you can find him at College SportsCast on Facebook on Tuesday nights. And they do 70+% in their picks. Like I said, we were a plus 62% for our picks here at College Game Day, our College Sportscast for our Game Day pick'ems. And we're also on WSBN TV Channel 30. Want to promote them real quick, but definitely wanted to talk about our bet link. We are really happy.
We'll be back Monday night to talk the Kentucky transfer portal stuff. We didn't get to do it last night.
Yeah, we are really happy about having a bet link here. So, all right, the college season's over with. I'm not sure. We really are not going to be doing game day pick'ems right now because there's just not games really to talk about. And I haven't been as engaged with the baseball this time. So, but we will continue to probably do our Monday and Tuesday shows.
Now, Monday shows will vary on commitments and stuff like that because there's not a lot to talk really about Kentucky unless, there's new, because you see the
Clyde
news.
Says news dropped that Trent Noah is officially returning to Kentucky. For the season.
Mark Pope mentioned that on his calling show. So, but there's not really a lot to talk about unless you kind of want to dig into the news that Pilgrim and all them are going after with, the contacts being made.
Some of that stuff. I don't want to go down those rabbit holes.
Yeah, it's all I'll say.
I mean,
that's all I'll say on that one.
Some of it, Lord have mercy.
Hey, Brad, Kentucky just contacted another kid. I'm just kidding.
Good grief. Some of that stuff, I don't want to go down those rabbit holes.
Brad made a joke. I know everybody, we're kind of getting off here, but Brad made a joke about it. He was joking, by the way. He said, Mark Pope must be on speed.
I
thought that's very funny. I said he's everywhere. He was everywhere.
117 contacts for 4 roster spots.
And then he was at the San Antonio. He was at the Final Four. Like, he's everywhere. To be honest, he's and took a picture with UK fans right in the middle of losing the recruit.
Yeah, he did absolutely.
I mean, it's wild.
It's wild. I'm telling you. All right, guys. This has been the Big Fuss Show. We appreciate you guys being with us.
I missed you,
next
Jerry.
time we will talk about some NBA draft stuff.
I miss Jared.
Plus, we will dig in a little bit deeper in the first round for maybe the next 10 picks in the first round in the NFL draft as well.
I miss you, Jared Carter. I don't know where you are tonight, but I've missed you tonight. He's usually our number one guy, so he must because he's usually here. He's probably got something going on.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night. We will see you next week.
Yep. Have a good one.
Can I please have your attention?
What's all the commotion around here?
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.